Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. It's episode 253. Coming up this week, we've got the new Bianchi, the new Specialized Diverge, updates from Zwift, updates from Wahoo, and we have a gravel jacket, or gravel, if you're not as cool as us.
Well, yeah, plus our main talking point this week, which is why TT bikes have been banned at the Tour Down Under time trial, and why, well, we think it's a good thing.
Banned? Oh. First things first, let's take a look at last week's poll. So last week we asked if you thought e-scooters were a menace, because you were quite strong on this, weren't you?
Yeah, they are.
You hated them. So
It's good to see that, well, 61% of the audience agree with me.
19% of people say no, all good with me. I do like the 20% of people that said they're not sure, but they'd like to see you ride one.
Well, 61% say yes, they're a death trap, so
Yeah.
it'd be irresponsible for me to put myself in harm's way, so I'm not going to ride one.
Maths never lies, does it?
No.
Okay.
So the main talking point this week, TT bikes. They've been banned at the Tour Down Under time trial, which, let's be specific, is actually a prologue. So it's the opening stage of the week-long Tour Down Under, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is the first big stage race in the UCI World Tour
It's like
calendar.
a season opener, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it takes place in January.
So if time trial bikes are banned, what about time trial bars on road bikes?
They're banned as well.
What about disc wheels?
They're allowed.
TT helmets?
They're allowed. It'll basically look like the riders are sort of in Zwift when you have a road bike with a disc wheel on.
It'd be Zwift IRL.
Yeah,
That's in
the
real
course
life.
is quite Zwifty as well. It looks
Oh, yeah?
like something from Zwift, yeah. So it's an amazing street circuit they've got in Adelaide. It's 5.5 kilometres long,
Yeah.
and it looks technical. It's got a lot of 90-degree bends in it.
So it kind of makes sense. You probably wouldn't really want a time trial bike with loads of really tight turns, would you?
It'd still be faster.
Yeah, all right, fair point.
We don't get many road bike only time trials in pro cycling. There's a few that stand out in my mind. So another early season race, St. Louis in Argentina.
Yeah.
It's a lower level race. That's had a few. So Remco's memorably won.
2019
Yeah,
that
he's
was.
got super aero with his little weird turned in.
Oh,
hoods.
I don't like the turned in hoods.
Anyway,
I'm against that.
Other one that stands out in my mind is the inaugural Dubai Tour in 2014, where there was a 9.9 kilometre time trial and it was won by Taylor Finney on a road bike. And in that, they weren't allowed disc wheels and they weren't allowed TT helmets. They had to use like aero road helmets. But I remember it was an incredible ride. Like he did 490 watts average for 12 minutes and averaged over 50 kilometres an hour on a road bike.
That is absolutely mental.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of blows my mind a little bit, especially when you consider, go back to 2014, they still have had top-notch bikes at the time, but nothing compared to today's modern aero bike
Oh,
standards.
2014 it was.
What are they, like exposed cables?
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, what was interesting when I remember of that, a lot of the riders weren't even on aero bikes.
They had wide handlebars.
Yeah, some of them would have, I remember at the time, for that time trial, some of them switched out the tech on their bikes and went for like slightly narrower bars, like slightly lower front end, and like they put their saddles forward so they could get into a bit more of a TT position.
But even saying they've gone to slightly narrow handlebars, I don't recall seeing anything like crazy narrow 36s that we've seen some people use.
No.
There's always people out there trying those little crazy bars.
Yeah, the bikes were nothing compared to what they are now.
Kind of blows my mind a bit.
What I hope we see, though, is that riders go to town and do some real modifications on their bikes for this prologue. I think that'd be really cool, because the rules, there's loopholes you can exploit.
You can exploit the rules.
I don't think that there is a minimum width for handlebars.
I don't think there is. You can have some drop handlebars that are really narrow and really far forwards.
Or
Basically,
get like a
time
massive,
position.
like 20 centimetre stem, and then you're just like this.
What about disc wheel in the front?
Well, yeah, but technically in time trials, you are allowed, it's a little known rule, but you are allowed a disc in the front wheel.
A disc in the front.
We don't run them because of instability, but in such a short time trial, if it was a still day, well, you could do, but the only problem is I don't think anyone makes a disc.
No.
So there's your
New product to the market there.
Yeah, but in terms of like the difference in aerodynamics between a road bike and a time trial bike, something we get asked a lot. Now, if you really optimize your position on a road bike and get super aero with narrow bars and
like
good,
you basically.
Good kit. Well, I've been in the wind tunnel, we've measured it, and on the Pinarello F, I've managed with like 60mm deep wheels.
Yeah.
I managed to get down to a drag coefficient of 0.22. Now
Which is low.
Yeah, and maybe with a disc wheel and a deeper front and some other bits and a TT helmet, you could maybe get down to like 0.21. Now, the thing with that's actually as low as a lot of people are on a time trial bike. You can be that on a road bike if you've got the good position.
Yeah.
The problem is getting that aero position. You have to hold yourself really low, and it's quite difficult to get.
And it's hard to generate power in those
Yeah, that's the
positions,
problem.
isn't it? Yeah.
But like the top time trialists, so you're looking at about a drag coefficient of around 0.19 on average for a lot of pros on a time trial bike.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at there is kind of like, it changes depending on the position you hold on the bike, but you're looking at about sort of 12 to 20% less aerodynamic on the road bike setup.
Okay, now, I mean, we love time trial bikes, you particularly so. They're kind of like the Formula One car of bikes. However, I am all for road bike only time trials because I feel like it really helps out some of the smaller teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're unlikely to have all of the resources and all of the equipment. So take when I was racing, for example, on one of the smaller level teams, a couple of tiers down from the World Tour stuff. Now, if there was a time trial in one of the stage races we did,
Like the Tour of Britain.
Tour of Britain, perfect example, quite often, I didn't even have a time trial bike all year. So I'd get a time trial bike maybe a few days before the race, try and get it set up, try and get used to riding it. And then the event, I'd be like, well, can't even really do my best because I'm not used to riding it.
Yeah, the lower level teams that aren't the World Tour teams are at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to having the time trial.
Because you might have riders that could have been competitive but just aren't used to it.
Which is what you'd want to see. And we see this in races like the Tour of Britain. The Tour Down Under has domestic teams from Australia competing, and some of them will be in a similar situation to what you just described. What I do think, though, is I absolutely do want to see time trials with TT bikes and all the kit, all the Formula One.
We want to see all the stuff
in the top races, like the Giro, the Tour. I
think a Grand Tour is like, without a shadow of a doubt, you've got to have the best of everything that's available.
Yeah, and the other top flight stage races like Paris-Nice or Tirreno Adriatico. I think that's I want to see the cutting edge tech because that is also a really cool part of the sport.
I'm in complete agreement with you actually, but I do still want to see road bike only time trials in some events because I feel like it's kind of like a little bit old school, what it used to be like a little bit back in the day.
There's something quite pure about it.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's very relatable for viewers and everybody at home because not everyone has a time trial bike.
Yeah, whereas like you can say, when you go, they were riding at 50k, like Taylor Phinney was riding at over 50k an hour.
You can go try it
on a road bike. That's like, what that feels like.
Try ride 50k an hour on your road bike. You'll realise it's blooming difficult. Yeah, well, unless you go down a big hill.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, we still haven't actually discussed
why
specifically no time trial bikes at the Tour Down Under.
Well, the first thing to point out is that because this prologue is 5.5 kilometres long, it's going to take the riders probably 5 minutes. So
it's not very long, is it?
No. So we've got to be mindful of like climate change and the carbon footprint of cycling, right?
Yeah.
And the huge cost of air freighting 300 odd TT bikes.
Because they're going to have the bikes they ride on, all the spares, all the extra wheels,
and all the equipment associated with doing the TT bikes. Shipping all that over to air freighting, it would be air freight over to Australia. That's huge.
It's got a big impact on the
environment. For 5 minutes of racing, it seems like an extravagance.
It does seem a bit overkill.
Yeah, and then also once you factor in the other argument about the smaller domestic teams,
it kind of makes a lot of sense.
I think it makes a huge amount of sense.
Well, I actually commend the organisers for this. Although one thing I do want to question: why are we not allowed time trial bars?
Well, I commend them for this as well because a lot of the modern road bikes now aren't designed to be used with tri bars. It's also actually a bit of an issue fitting them because they all have modern integrated aero cockpits now that are all completely different shapes on the top section of the bar. So clamping tri bars onto them, they're not designed for it, and it's just a real headache trying to find something that will clamp on there.
It's pretty much impossible in lots of situations.
Yeah, and a lot of them aren't designed as clamping areas, so it wouldn't be safe. And so if you allowed tri bars, some of the bikes would be compatible with it, or riders maybe running old round bars, would then be a huge advantage over the riders that, say, couldn't because of sponsors. So, I think that's a headache.
Slightly more level playing
Get
field.
rid of it, no need for it.
Okay, well, there we go. We're glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
We should hear everyone else's thoughts on this, shouldn't we? So let us know in the comments section down below what you think of road bike only time trials.
Yeah, I think we'll do a poll as well about are you excited about the prospect of a road bike only time trial, and I think would you want to see more of them? I mean, I definitely would. I think it's cool. Yeah,
I'm all for it actually. Yeah. All right, we'll head over to GCN app, vote on the poll, and as always, we'll discuss the results next week. It's now time for hot and spicy tech. We're going to kick things off this week with the new Bianchi Ultra RC. So we spotted this last week. And
many of you will have seen it. Yeah. Well, it's Bianchi's self-styled hyperbike, right? Now, interesting thing.
Yeah.
I think they've got the term hyperbike from GCN.
I think Sai said it a while back.
Sai was the first to coin the phrase hyperbike in this video where he wore that amazing wig. Anyway, show a picture of that. But the headline about this bike is that it features these ducts or air vents on the head tube. And these are said to, help reduce drag by streamlining the airflow over the rider's legs.
Now, I kind of get that, but I'm somewhat baffled as to how on earth these don't count as a fairing being added onto the bike, in which case it would make them UCI illegal.
Yes, the UCI rules clearly state that, anything attached to the bike has to be structural. And they don't look like they're integral to the structure of the bike.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think they're holding the frame together.
Hey there, Tech Squadron. Newsflash, breaking news. After we shot, just hours after we shot the tech show, it was announced that the UCI has banned.
We're going to look like a pair of jokers to everybody.
Well, that's why we're doing this, to show that what was actually happening. That was an incredible piece of foreshadowing by us. Hours before we predicted it. So also, this week's winning lottery numbers are 4, 17, 42.
Yeah, well, there's some pretty big claims come out about this bike from Bianchi, they reckon it's pretty fast. So
we got some of the stats here actually. So compared to the previous XR4 Ultra, Bianchi is saying it saves 17 watts at 50k an hour.
That's a lot.
Which is a reduction in CDA of 5.1% apparently.
Yeah, although it's not clear though if that's the bike or the bike and rider.
Now, it's not clear, although I would have assumed or guessed it's with a rider if they're saying these ducts make the airflow a lot better over the legs. But we're also seeing wind tunnel testing before where we're just seeing legs on the bike and not even an upper torso.
I think, what I'm baffled at is it seems that I think it's natural to be sceptical about the air vents because they seem to be a very, very tiny part of the entire frontal area of the bike. They're a very tiny part of the overall system drag. And so I'm sceptical as to whether they make a huge amount of difference.
Nonetheless, I think it's an interesting approach to take and something that I haven't seen before. But also, we've got a new cockpit on this bike as well.
Yeah.
With a large central hole through the middle.
Yeah, so apparently that creates some kind of vortex channel or something, which also is said to reduce drag. But again, the thing that confuses me about this is it wasn't shown in the marketing material that we saw with an out front computer.
Which 98% of people use.
Everyone's going to use an out front computer. Yeah. So as soon as you put a computer, it's going to sit where that gap is, that vent hole. So how's that going to impact the...
All stuff we don't know, actually. Yeah. I don't know.
So many questions.
So many questions, but it's an interesting bike. I've got to say, I quite like the look of it. Shall I hit you with some prices?
If I want to buy one, what's the damage?
13,800 euros.
Starting price.
But
that's for the top end frame.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have any Great British pounds. I don't have dollars. I don't have Australian dollars. I don't have any
pounds
others.
are worthless now.
Yeah, pounds are worthless.
Pound is worthless now. It doesn't matter. We don't deal with it. No point keeping it now. Anyway, what we've actually had a poll running on this bike on the GCN app. See what you think.
Good point.
Interesting. Most of the audience, 64% of you, said hot, or when we did hot or not.
Yeah,
So
and that poll's still running, I believe, so there should be a link in the description down below, and you can head over and vote on that. Maybe we'll see how this progresses.
Yes, most people seem to like the bike.
Okay. Next up in Hot Tech, we've got the new Specialized Diverge with front and rear suspension. It looks incredible. Take a look and let us know what you think. So this is the 2023 Specialized Diverge, and it adds a future shock to the rear of the bike as well as the one that it has at the front. Now the top tube contains like a hydraulic dampener, trying to absorb some of the
It's a really
vibration.
intriguing looking mechanism that they've fitted to the bike at the top tube, at the point at which it joins the seat tube. It's kind of like a leaf spring type thing going on. There's also the future shock built into the head tube, which is similar to the thing that we first saw on the Specialized Roubaix a few years ago.
Yeah.
So you've got that dampening at the front and the back. It's according to Specialized, it's pretty significant, and as a result, their marketing speak is that it allows riders to float over rough terrain.
For a faster ride, apparently.
Yeah. They're still making the Crux, though.
Yeah, still at the Crux, which I think remains as their lightest gravel bike option.
Yeah.
I think Specialized are suggesting that the Crux would be for their professional gravel racers, and then if it gets like really rough terrain, perhaps you use the Diverge.
Yeah. So depending on the race, but the Crux has a lot less dampening. It looks more like a bike.
Yeah. Now I've got some stats here for you. So a complete bike, 56 centimetre Diverge, weighed in at 8.5 kilograms, set up tubeless.
It's pretty good for a gravel bike.
That's for the S-Works version.
The top of the range.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a gravel bike, especially considering it's got all that hardware, chunky tyres, the suspension features built in.
Go down from the S-Works one to the Pro version, you're looking at 8.9 kilograms, Expert 9.5 kilograms.
Yeah. That's pretty.
And just like the Bianchi, this is also over on the GCN app, where it's been able to be voted hot or not.
Interestingly, though, the poll at the time of making this show, much more split
Closer,
vote.
Close call on this.
55% said hot, but 45% think that is not a hot bike. It's a unique looking bike. I think it's pretty cool. I'd be really intrigued to ride one. For me,
I think that's why we're getting that.
If it rode really well, then I'd be like, this is cool.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
One day we might find out.
Might do.
Yeah.
Other big news this week is in the form of Zwift. So the Zwift Racing League returns for season 2.
Yeah.
You may remember we had a go at it.
Everyone remembers. Can we play the clip?
No, don't play that one.
All right, come on, play the clip of Ollie being sick and banging his head. Here we go, it's going to be great.
How you feeling after that? I feel like I'm really sick.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't knock my commitment. You can't knock me for trying. Anyway, what is also exciting news on the Zwift front is that the Zwift Academy finalists have been selected. So we're going to be broadcasting episodes of the Zwift Academy like we did last year.
They were blooming good to watch.
It was really good. Like watching them race on like Sacalobra and stuff was amazing. But the most exciting news is
Go on.
Il Bandito.
The guy you found from the internet.
I found him on the internet, and then
sounds really obscure.
He's like the Italian Andrew Feather.
Yeah.
Right. And we got him to race. If you've not seen it, check it out. But yeah, he's in there. So Bandito's there.
He's made it through to the finalists.
His real name is Luca. But he's a finalist. So make sure you subscribe so that you can watch the episodes when they come out because it'll be good. We've got some Wahoo news as well.
Yeah, so Wahoo X got some new features too, including voice chat on RGT. So this is great for if you're doing, well, I'm going to say races or group rides, but in my experience, I can't speak when I'm racing.
I can. It's just I can't type.
What?
I can't type.
I can't speak.
You know these people who are typing when they're racing? I'm like, how are you doing that?
Oh.
I'm like absolutely hanging. But yeah, it's really good. Because normally when I've done group rides and races on Zwift with a team, you set up like a voice chat on a Google Hangout.
It's like a separate app.
Yeah, you use a separate app to set up a voice chat. So having it in Wahoo system is really good.
Yeah.
I also like that there's another feature as well, which is you can set up different like chats. So if you get in a breakaway in a race,
Yeah.
you can set up a chat that's just for the people in the breakaway.
Well, if you get in the breakaway of the race, I could maybe set up a chat for the people that have been dropped.
Or yeah,
we all drown our
you
sorrows.
can set, look, I could be there as well. We'll set up a gruppetto chat.
Yeah.
But it means that then you can talk tactically in that, and the other people can't hear what the breakaway's doing, like it would in real life. I think that's proper cool.
That is proper cool. Okay, and then finally in Hot Tech this week, we've got a new jacket. It's a gravel jacket. We mentioned it at the start of the show.
Yeah.
I've actually got it hidden away down here
is it?
somewhere. Oh, I can get it. I'll go the other way, don't worry.
Watch out for suggestion, boy.
Oh, sorry, suggestion boy. Take a look at this, and then we'll hit you with some of the stats.
Oh, it's an Assos jacket.
Oh, carefully unbox it. Right. What do we make of this, everybody? Quite
So
like
is it a rain cape, a hard shell?
I'm not sure how to describe it, but one of the biggest standout features, and what I think makes this jacket cool and unique, right? If I unzip this,
It's
check
called
this out.
the Leuven Crawler,
Bear with me, I'm just working the zip here.
or Loven Crawler.
It's hard to unzip something when you're not wearing it. There we go. So right inside here, in this pocket at the back, check this out, is this little section inside the pocket. And then when you're done wearing your jacket, perhaps because you've got too hot on your gravel riding, you fold all your jacket up into this, and then it's got some little clips, clip it on your handlebars. You've got like a bar bag jacket system.
I mean, gravel riders are going to love this.
Gravel riders are going to go mad for this
But
stuff.
if that turns into the bar bag, where do they put their beard grooming products and like craft
Oh.
beers? I
Saddle
thought that's
bag.
what they put in the
Oh, you
bar
have to
bag.
put that into a frame bag.
Oh.
And if you've got all your snacks in a frame bag, I've put those into a saddle bag.
Oh.
And then if you've run out of bags, well, I don't know what we're going to do after that.
Gravel rider problems. More hot tech next week.
Comments of the week.
It's now time for comments of the week. Now, I tell you what,
Last
this
week.
week's jingle,
Yeah?
editor's discretion. Just let whoever, the editor, pick whichever one.
Mash up of all of them.
Just pick whatever you want. Anyway, if you think you can do better than that,
Yeah.
then well, by all means, send in a jingle to us.
Yeah.
for it.
We'll happily receive as many jingles as people are prepared to send in.
Comment first up this week, actually.
Mark B,
Well,
this
no,
is.
we'll go David Bumgara's comment, who
Okay.
says he likes the jingle that we did last week, which was a homemade jingle from one of our great fans.
Yeah.
Who said, why don't you rotate the jingle and when a new one comes in each week? Well, yeah,
That's what we'll do.
we'll try. So next comment is from Mark B.
Yeah, so Mark B says, anyone else notice at the Bespoke show where Ollie says he really likes those repair patches and he could do with some, as he slyly slips them into his pocket? What? He'll be asking for extra porridge soon.
Yeah, there was also a comment saying that there's missing tools in the GCN set, and they reckon that that's now me based on those patches, right? So the chap at Albion who made those patches,
Yeah.
he said, "I want you to take these."
He said, I want you to take
It
those.
is. I've made these specifically for you to take right now.
No.
I thought, yeah,
Well,
that's
fair
fine.
enough.
So I didn't steal them. You don't need to call.
No.
The police can stand down.
Stand down. I thought it was going to be armed guards at the door.
Yeah, they can stand down. Anyway, Larry Lem posted a really good comment, and he said, "Hey Ollie, Canyon Speedmax track versus road. Is there a big aero difference in the rear derailleur and the cassette? It seems like one of the last places for aero optimization is eliminating these for road racing.
Yeah.
So why don't teams use internally geared hubs? Is the efficiency bad? Gear range, big steps between gears, or whatever? And what about using drive shafts on bikes and getting rid of the aero penalty of the drivetrain? Would it
Wow.
be worth it? What do you think to that?
Lots going on there.
Yeah.
I think some very good points raised.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day, and they were asking me where I thought the next big efficiency or revolution in the bike was coming. I said, you know what? I don't know yet.
I think at the moment, a lot of internal hub gears aren't anywhere near as efficient. So
No.
that's a big hurdle. But it doesn't mean that they couldn't be.
They could be developed.
And
Yeah.
in terms of like the drive shaft thing, yeah, it's cool ideas. But the problem is it's just going to require such huge development costs because you're going to need a bike that's specifically designed for that. Otherwise, it wouldn't deal properly with the stresses and the forces. So you couldn't just develop a system to go on any bike. You would have
I'm not 100% sold on the drive shaft concept for a bike. Just going to throw it out there now. Fair enough.
Well, maybe we'll see it in the future. But yeah,
Next
it's
in
interesting ideas.
is a comment from Fraser Goodwin. Question about hand comfort over such a long and cobbled ride, plus those awful concrete roads. Single wrap of bar tape or double and mitts?
Yeah,
Oh, this was for your, yeah.
when we did Flanders in a day. So rode all the bergs of Flanders, a lot of people comment saying the plural of bergs is actually Bergen.
Oh.
And it may be in Flemish. However,
we're not Flemish.
The bastardisation of it in English is it's common in the English language to refer to the plural of berg as bergs. It was something that we've been doing for years.
I'm glad we cleared that.
Yeah, it's slang. But slang is a part of language, so I'm sticking with it.
Back on track ever so slightly.
Yeah,
single layer of bar tape
I use
or
a single
double?
layer of bar tape, and I don't wear mitts.
Well, okay.
I don't ever tend to wear mitts unless I'm doing a race because there's a chance where you might fall off and then you protect your hands.
We've all known that it could happen in outside of a racing situation.
Yeah, it could do, but the chance of it is
it's pretty small.
Considerably rare.
That was our last comment for this week.
Yeah.
Got through those pretty quick.
It's time for the bike vault then, isn't it?
Right, let me get the bell.
Where you submit pictures of your bikes and we deem them to be either nice or super nice. If they're super nice, Alex will ring the bell and they'll go into the bike vault forever. You can submit pictures to the bike vault using the GCN app.
I'll ring the bell quick. Ollie's got an incoming call.
Time now for the bike vault, where you submit pictures of your bikes in the GCN app and then we deem them to be either nice or super nice. You can also vote on all the bikes featured in the app too. If they're super nice, Alex ring the bell. So, right, first we're going to cast our judgment upon the bike which was voted the most super nice bike last week.
Yeah. So it's a Pinarello Prince. What do we make of this?
Gold chain.
Gold chain. Whoa.
Wheels aligned like that. Gubbins removed, but the radar rear light is still in place.
We can accept that.
I think that's I can get on board with this. It's very clean.
Something I have
super
just
nice.
noticed, not that it's really that crucial, but I think they've got like a SPD mountain bike style
they do,
pedal.
Yeah.
Interesting choice, but yeah, fair enough. I
Very
like this
clean
bike.
cassette. Yeah, I think that's a super nice.
It feels like it's almost brand new.
Next up, we've got this Trek Amonda ALR. Love seeing aluminium bikes.
That colour though.
I like its autumnal shot.
Yeah.
I like the contrast of the colour against the wall. Good choice of backdrop.
Rate it.
That's easy for me.
One buy.
Yeah, that's a super nice. Straight up.
Yeah, straight up. Super nice. Next in is, where are we? Well, it is from Kelefant?
Keelefant.
We're so dreadful with the names.
A Pinarello Dogma F12, and it's such a nice bike.
It's a beautiful bike.
But there's just, what is going on here?
So,
Like, what are they thinking? It's
Campag wheels, Shimano group set. Well, I'm not against that, but it's an odd thing to see.
That's not what's.
Well, I mean, it's
it's
on drive side, obviously, but yeah.
that horrendous Zimmer frame that they're holding it up in as well. Like, what on earth's going on there?
Is that Nana Zimmer frame?
It's a nice.
It is a nice. The pump is still on the bike.
What gear is it in?
Not sure what gear it's in. I'll tell you what, I've spotted my tech binoculars. They are the latest Shimano Dura Ace rotors with the different cutouts on them, I believe.
Yeah.
Fair play for having those.
Yeah.
But it's a nice. Next in.
Bill 6.
The sixth Bill.
Indeed. He says that also this is his second attempt at getting into the bike.
Good work for a second attempt.
I like him trying. He's learned from,
Yeah.
he's taken the criticism on board. It was constructive.
Yeah.
He's resubmitted.
We're always fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful light speed. Look at that. SRAM force on it.
A thing of beauty. Slam stem.
Oh, very nice. It's very clean. I like the choice of background. That's good. In the middle of the road. Does present the bike well. Love a titanium bike. I like the way his cables match the logos, the yellow of the light speed. It's in Biggie Smalls. It's clean. There's no gubbins.
No gubbins.
Bill, I'm well done, Bill.
We're going to super nice this,
Well
Bill.
done.
Top job. You know what everyone needs to do? Need to be like Bill.
Be more like Bill.
Be more like Bill.
We've got, this is interesting. So this is from Jason Howes, and it's a boardman. However, watching Manon's video on respraying bikes, which is a great video.
Brilliant.
We should do some more custom painting.
I'd love to paint a bike. I'm just worried I wouldn't do as good a job.
He's resprayed his Boardman.
Purple Lost, apparently, and it pops in the sun.
I think that's really nice. He's done a really smart job of it. I think that's super nice from me. I like the no logos look. I think it's cool. It's biggie small. Valves are aligned.
I've got nothing to nothing to go against that.
Nice.
Lots of super nices this week.
Top work.
So next in we
God.
Nearly had to bleep that then. TM Gems 1977 with a Trek Madone, or Madon, depends what you like to say, 4.5.
Be more like Bill.
Yeah, be more like Bill.
Rubbish.
Got his helmet in the corner of the picture as well.
Next.
Next.
Pasta Rinnen. I would have thought that a pasta would know better, quite frankly. This is horrendous. What is this? Who's taking the picture? Connor?
That is how Connor would submit a bike.
Yeah.
It's a bike bar, actually. You go, look at my great bike. I've presented it really well.
Oh, God.
So non-drive side, not very happy about that. It's lent up against the wall, risk of scratching and damaging your bike.
Yeah.
We're just generally quite upset about the situation, I feel.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, it's clear, nice from me, no doubt about it. Well, I guess I'll just put the bell away for this week then, shall I? That was our last bike vault for this week. I love the bike vault. I feel like I've come away from this week's vault slightly underwhelmed. Ollie looks like he's ready to never present the bike vault ever again. It's all right, mate. Don't worry. It'll be all right. Well, other than the bike vault, we both had a mega time. We've loved it. Have you loved it? Yeah. Lost for words. As always, at the end of every tech show, I'm going to go get some lunch. I'll see everyone in a bit. See you, mate. Bye.